How many of you felt like you partied too late last night? Right? We got some hands going up. How much fun was the dance party last night? Shall we do a dance party again next year? Yes. All right. That's what we love to hear. Well, thank you all. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it's already closing ceremonies time? It's been a weekend, hasn't it? This was our first year of doing a 2.5-day conference. Historically, it had been a 1.5-day conference. And so this was our first year with this new format, expanded format. We had 42 speakers. They were all fantastic. So let's give a round of applause for our speakers. We also had, and I think I mentioned this before, but we had more physicians attend our conference than ever before, which also included a lot of new physicians, and that's just so incredibly exciting. So, as well as more therapists attended this conference as well. So, fantastic that we're getting the word out. Awesome. I laughed. I created this slide right here. Remember last night I showed a slide of what our engagement numbers were? I created this slide this morning. I looked right before I came up here, and we're already at 4,900 messages in the Whova app. So you guys are using the Whova app. We're getting our money's worth out of the Whova app. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. I did want to make sure that everyone knows that you do have access for the Whova app for at least 3 months. They tell us 3 months, but I still think I have access last year. I don't know about you. So if people are nodding their heads, yes. You have access to the replays of all the sessions. All of yesterday's sessions are uploaded. If you are on a computer, this is what it's going to look like if you look up at the screen there. So you just click on sessions, you go to on the agenda, and then when you see that green video camera looking icon, you can click on that, and then the video will be there. So be sure to, if you missed any sessions or just want to rewatch them, please go back and take a look at them. I do know that some of the speakers have already uploaded their slides and some handouts, so there's some things up there. That is totally at the speaker's discretion if they're going to do that. Many of them have. And also noticed that a lot of the speakers have gone in and answered some additional questions. And we're going to continue to encourage them to not forget, like, okay, even though the conference is over, please go back and answer some questions that might come up. I did notice that there were questions that came in after the presentations as well. So just want to make sure that you all knew about that. And we could not do this without our trustee, and I say that because they've been doing this with us for a long time. Back in the back of the room, Isaiah and Dave. They go back and get the videos all edited together, and they're the reasons that it was that we were able. They are the ones who uploaded the videos. So hats off to them. Also want to give a special shout out to my guys. And I say that because they've been with us for 3 years. Back in the back, Everett and Carrie. They make all the tech magic happen. And even though he's not here, let's give it up for DJ Franchise. He was a lot of fun last night. So we're just so thankful that we've been, that they work with us, and we just so much enjoy them. And they're the behind the scenes that makes this conference what it is. Now, I cannot wait for you all to see the photos. I think everybody's met Dale by now. Where is Dale? Oh, there he is. So thank you, Dale. I've seen a sneak peek of some of the photos, and they are fabulous. We did go ahead and post on Facebook a few of the photos as well. So when we get them all together, we'll share them with you, and I hope you enjoy them just as much as I do. And we just thank the team that supports us and helps us put this conference together. So thank you, guys. I want to thank all of the volunteers. So anybody who volunteered during this conference, go ahead and raise your hand. There's a number of you. I know, thank you. I was like, wait a second, is that Shanna there? I got to give a special shout out to our timekeeper. We got so many messages back. We've gotten dozens of messages back about the conference and some feedback. But one thing that really stands out is wow, this conference really keeps moving. So thank you for keeping time for us. And just thank you to all the volunteers. This really is a team effort. And I do want to give a special recognition to our virtual volunteers. So I mentioned last night that we have Danielle and Michelle, our newest board members. They have become virtual ambassadors, and they have been working their tails off behind the scenes. So thank you, Danielle and Michelle. Everybody give a great round of applause to them. While we were doing here in person, while we were doing our breakout sessions, we also had roundtable discussions for the virtual attendees, and we had a number of volunteers, and they're listed up here on the screen. We had a number of volunteers that hosted some different tables, so want to recognize them as well. Fantastic. All right, I want my fellow board members to come up here. They always push me up on stage. Now I'm going to drag them up here on stage with me. Come on, ladies. We've been together for a long time. Polly and I joined the board at the same time. Polly, how long ago was that? 10 years. Oh my God. 10 years. So, and we're still here. So I want to give a special recognition to this team up here. I think by now everybody's met everybody, but maybe for the virtual attendees, Brianna Garrett, Polly Armour, Miriam, who will always be a lad in my heart, but she's now a lad in Alkay, and Jerry-Ann Wheaton. Try not to get emotional. Dadgummit. I really couldn't do this without these ladies. They are my rock, have been my rock, and sometimes my voice of reason when I have crazy ideas. So I just want to give a giant round of applause to all the board members. Now, with that being said, she didn't know we were doing this. We tricked her. Polly is officially is retiring from the board after 10 years of service. So, hats off to Polly. Got a little something for you, Polly. Congratulations.
Thank you all. It's been a wonderful journey, and seeing this community grow and evolve has been one of the greatest things in my life. So thank you all for being here and for the support that you give. And every year I feel like this gets better and better, and I know it's going to keep happening. So see you next year.
We're going to hold her to that.
I'm not disappearing. I'm just stepping back from the active role. So
there's big shoes to fill. Polly's our rock, and we have just been so amazed by you and look up to you and your wisdom and all the things that you've done for the lipedema community. Polly is the one who's attended the international meetings, has been just such a staunch advocate for lipedema, and we just look up to you, Polly, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your service to the community and to the FDRS board. Thank you, Polly.
well, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. And if I don't know a photo that better captures Polly and her essence at the conference, I don't know what does. So thank you, Dale. So one thing that I hear after we leave the conference is like, and I guess I can even open that up to a question for because right now the majority of us in the room are indeed patients. Does anyone get the post-conference blues? Yeah, got some hands. It's like, okay, I've gotten all this information this weekend. We had some scientific information. We've learned some new things. We've learned a lot of different. We've learned, my favorite is like, I wonder if I could try that pose the poses that Tammy shared with us. I'm like, would I be able to get up from them? But we learned so many great things over the weekend. But I know for many of us, today is a very emotional and very powerful day. There's so many first-timers in the room and in attendance. I hope that you walk away from here feeling supported and feeling seen and feeling understood. So what are some things that we want to think about as we move forward, move past this conference, and go back to the quote-unquote real world? Because we've been in a bubble. We have been in a bubble for some of us, for 2.5 days, for other of us, for a day and a half. We've been in a bubble here. So what are the tools that we need? What are the takeaways that we have? But before we do that, I do want to make sure that everyone is aware that April 4th is Durkheim's Awareness Day. So I encourage you, whether you have Durkheim's or not, and I am wearing orange in solidarity. I have lipedema, but I am wearing orange today in solidarity with those who are suffering from Durkheim. So let's really raise our voices for those of you who have a platform. Please, let's give a shout out to Durkheim's, and we're going to be sharing educational information. Let's make the awareness known. Let's get our voices heard. So I encourage everyone who has that feels compelled to do so to do so. So what are some of the takeaways from this weekend? Well, number one, as Ray said, you are survivors. And I think sometimes it's hard especially when you're in that battle that he talked about, is sometimes that it's hard to see that about yourself. So remember, first and foremost, that you are indeed a survivor. We also heard that we need to prioritize joy. How often do we take time for ourselves, practice the self-care? I'm preaching to the choir here. Practice the self-care and find the joy in the things that make us happy. I think we've all learned over the weekend that there is healing in community. This community is proof of that. The hugs, the tears, Patty's presence here. There is healing in this community. Take that with you as you leave and go home. You are worthy of love. And I think sometimes that's not always apparent to ourselves. Remember that you are worthy of love and try to find that where that comes. Advocate for yourself. I think that's another huge takeaway, and many of us have had to learn that the hard way because for those who have Durkheim's, is a rare condition that not many practitioners know. Lipedema is not rare, but it's rarely diagnosed and very misunderstood. So we have to continue to advocate for ourselves, whether it be with the medical community or whether it be at our own home, with our own families and our own friends. I think it was maybe Brenda last night that said, maybe you don't sit next to Aunt, I forget the name she used, but maybe you don't sit to Aunt so-and-so. I have an aunt, Aunt Dixie. I just keep my distance. Find those things for yourself. Advocate for yourself. Hold on to hope. I mean, that is the one thing that, when I hear feedback from people who attend the conference, it's about hope. And hope that we have some pathways forward. And we've heard a lot of stories today and in previous conferences. And I think that is one thing that I am continue to be, is hopeful. I'm also inspired. I personally have not prioritized my self-care. And listening to all of you is that motivation that I need to get back on the track of taking care of myself rather than taking care of others and other things. Be gentle with yourself. That was another powerful message that I heard. Be gentle with yourself and all of these things. And I'm not going to read all of these words, but this just really resonated with me. And I hope that you will find your mantra and that you know that you are worthy of care, love, and respect. Find your affirmations, as she spoke about this morning, and make them your own. And I hope that you will write these down or take those screenshots and just wake up every day and remember the peace, acceptance, and love that you felt at the conference this weekend. And with that, we will see you next year. TBD. We will be announcing that soon, but we'll see you next year. Thank you all.